Hi, everybody. Welcome to Life Stories Podcast. I am Shara Goswick, your host. It's been a minute since it's just been me on here. No guests today. I just had some things I wanted to share. Really, I would like to do this on a regular basis. It's just taking the time to sit down and do it. But there's some things that have been on my heart that I just want to share. Maybe they will encourage you. I hope they will. So if you have listened for any amount of time, which thank you to the people that listen. I'm always pleasantly surprised whenever I talk to somebody that I've known for a long time that I haven't talked to in a while, somebody I run into or I run into their mom or whatever, and they tell me that they've been listening to my podcast. I have no idea, and it makes me so happy. So thank you. If you're listening, thank you for doing that. Initially, I didn't know how long I would be doing this. I didn't think about it. I am not a great goal setter. I'm not somebody that plans way into the future for myself, for our home and for our finances and things like that. My husband and I think about the future. But as far as planning for the podcast, that's not something that I really did. I just thought it would be fun. And so I started, and yet in October, it will be 3 years since I have started this podcast, which is incredible. It surprises me as much as it probably surprises you. But I'm thankful that I've stuck with it. I have had the most fun every time I get to sit behind the microphone and talk to somebody new. I get excited. I love it. I've said before, I'm very particular about who I ask to be on the podcast. At the beginning of this year, 2025, I started doing 2 episodes a week because I was getting so backed up with people. It was taking several weeks to post an episode that I had recorded, and I didn't like that. So I started doing 2 episodes a week, which I'm thankful that I can do. But even keeping a steady stream of guests, I still say no more than I say yes. I still turn people away more than I accept them on my podcast. And some of them I'm reaching out to myself, but most of them are coming to me. Sometimes I get emails from people, PR people, and people who are interested in being on the podcast. And I appreciate that. I think it's very sweet that somebody would be interested to do that. But I've got values, and I've got, standards that I want to stand by and stick by. And so if those people that reach out to me don't fit into those standards, then I'm not going to have them on the podcast. When I talk to an author, I have to read their book first, because I've had people reach out to me wanting me to read their person's book that they're trying to promote, and it didn't fit with what I was doing. It was completely opposite, actually, of what I was doing here. And so now that's why I read their book first. Now, I love to read, so it's not like it's a chore for me. I love reading. I love reading all kinds of books. Not every genre, but I do like reading. I love reading biographies. I love reading about people's lives. I read a lot of fiction. But I'm going to read their book first before I will agree to talk to them. And that's my personal views. That's the wonderful thing about what I'm doing is this is my podcast. So I get to choose how it is run. I get to choose how it's edited. I get to choose who gets to be on it and who doesn't. And it's not like, I think I'm so high and mighty and I can just have, the good people on. That's not it at all. I love talking to all kinds of people. I love sharing stories, and I love promoting good work. That's really what I've been doing with the authors, with nonprofits, with people in business, people that are doing good, that are helping others. Those are the people I want to talk to. So I try to have a wide variety of people on here. I love it. I honestly love it. I'm just having a lot of fun. Like I said in the beginning, I didn't know how long this was going to last. I didn't really have a lot of plans, but when you start a podcast, and this is just my experience, but of course I want to learn as much as I can. So I started following lots of people who are big in this industry, who know a whole lot more than I do, have years of more experience, who are better at speaking, better at communicating, better at, all the things. I want to learn from those people. I realized after a little while that as much as I want to learn about all the things, and I want to participate in as many things as I can and opportunities to grow, and I really want to do that, at the same time, I have a whole lot of other responsibilities in my personal life things that I choose to do, things that I have to do, things that I want to do that take priority over my podcast and all the work that it's going to take to make it grow. These other things are just more important. I have a family. I have, even though I don't have small children, I have a son that lives with us who is disabled. And so he's pretty independent, but I still have to help him a lot. Because I'm not working outside the home, I help do a whole lot in our house and for our vehicles and things that my husband doesn't have time to do because he's working a lot of hours. We are very actively involved in our church, and I participate in a lot of things with that. I have grandkids that I love to keep, and because I'm not working outside the home, because I don't have a 9-to-5 job, when my daughter needs me to help, I am happy to go help. Like I want to do it as much as possible. I ask to do it, even when she doesn't need me, because I want to participate in that. I volunteer at our pregnancy center. There are other things that I'm involved in that I want to be involved in. And hosting in my home, cooking for people. I love doing all that stuff. And I realized after I did this podcast for a while, I was beating myself up for not doing all the things. I would sign up for something and I just couldn't get it done because I had so many other things going on, and I was beating myself up for it. And every time I would listen to a podcast or listen to somebody teaching or talking about how you can grow, and you need to do this to grow your podcast, and you need to do this to have greater numbers, and you need to do this or it's not going to work, or I was just feeling bad about my podcast. I was feeling bad about not being good enough, not working hard enough, not doing enough things to make it grow. And then I see all these other things that I'm doing. It's not like I'm sitting around doing nothing all day. I stay very busy with life and with people. And I finally realized that this podcast has become more about the message for me than it has about the method. Yes, I want to grow. Yes, I think it would be great if I had way more listeners than I do. And I appreciate every single person that's listening. I appreciate it, and I'm thankful. But I'm not going to beat myself up anymore about not being able to do all the things to make this grow. I'm just going to keep doing what I know to do. And I, pray over my podcast. I ask the Lord to show me if there's things I need to change or what I can do better. And I'm happy to listen to people who know more than me, and I want to learn from them, but I am no longer going to worry about the numbers or, if I'm doing enough. I'm going to do what I know to do, because here's the thing. The people that I talk to, I'm able to encourage them. I hope that listeners are encouraged. I love it when I hear somebody tell me, I heard this episode and it really helped me with this, or I heard this episode and I sent it to my friend because she's going through this. That makes me so happy. That's the reason I'm doing what I'm doing. I get to encourage them that they're doing great work. This week, I talked to a veteran who helps other veterans who come out of the military and want to get back into civilian life. But there are so many challenges that you don't understand unless you've walked through it, you don't get. And so he explained a lot of that to me. That's going to be very encouraging to other veterans who are dealing with the same issue. And I hope I was encouraging to him that what he's doing it matters and it's important. I talked to a guy yesterday who wrote a book on why it's important to have friends, why it's important to have godly friends, people who are going to uplift you and encourage you, and that you can be real with and not judged, but why we need people like that in our lives. I got to talk to him about his book because, yes, I did read his book. I read it on vacation. It was a great book. But I got to talk to him about that. Recently I talked to a woman who is a dementia expert. She wrote a book that's coming out soon, and she helps people, not only people who have been diagnosed with dementia, but even their families. But she teaches them how to slow the progress of the dementia that's happening and things that they can change in their lives that will help. It's not a cure, but something that will help them. And so not only is she going to help people that listen to that, in fact, somebody reached out to me and said, my mom was just diagnosed with dementia. I'm so thankful for this. I love that. I love that. Not only that, my husband is a physical therapist. He has patients and family members of patients who have dementia or are just diagnosed with dementia. So he wants to get the book to help them. That's why I'm doing what I'm doing. It started for fun, but I feel like God had a much bigger reason for me to start doing this. And I love it. I love it. I love getting to talk to people. I love getting to hear their stories. Love getting to laugh. I love getting to edit. Yeah, it's a lot of work. It takes a lot of extra time. But I'm thankful that I have the time to do it, that I can do it the way I want. My goal is to be an encourager, to encourage the people that are listening, to, produce uplifting stories, encouraging stories. You can turn on the news, which we don't even watch the news anymore. Everything's negative. It's all about the negative. What is the most negative things we can talk about? Let me report that to you. That's what it is. And yes, our world is kind of a mess. It's kind of a mess right now. I want to put something positive out there in the world. I want to bring encouraging stories for people to listen to feel better. Maybe it's something, a subject you've never heard of or never thought about. I want to put that out there to bring a smile or a little bit of encouragement, a little bit of joy to your day. That's what I want to do. I had a conversation with a friend recently, and we talked about my podcast, and we talked about where it started. And my question to myself was, and she posed some good questions for me, but it was, well, what are you wanting to do? What are you wanting to grow? What are you expecting from this? And it's really made me think over the last week, what do I want? What exactly am I hoping for? Because I didn't have any major goals for this. I really just started for fun and jumped in, and I've just been busy until now. And so it really made me think, and I realized I want to be way more about my message than I want to be about the method. About not that I want to change the way I'm doing things, but I will never have content just to have content. I will never have people on just so that I can do an episode. To me, that is a waste of my time, and it's a waste of somebody else's time. I don't want that. I want it to be positive. I want it to be helpful. I want it to be a good story and encouraging. And do I need to improve? Of course I do. There's so many things that I could be better at probably. But I know that I can look back from the beginning, and I have gained a lot of confidence since I started. I have grown. I've done things a lot better. I'm learning. I'm a slow learner in some areas, but I'm learning. I'm trying to make progress. And that's important to me. I feel like that is something we should all be doing. So I guess my question to you is there an area of your life, is there something that you are participating in or working on or involved in where you have felt like it's not enough, you're not doing good enough, you should be doing more, you should be doing this, you should be. I just encourage you to stop and look back at how far you've come and to really see the purpose. Just like my friend asked me, what are you wanting out of this? What are you looking for? What's your goal in the end for what you're doing? Because if all you're doing is beating yourself up, if all you're doing is trying to please other people around you or do what the world says you should be doing that is so important, I feel like you're wasting your time. You were created for so much more than that. You were created for more than just people pleasing. You were created for more than just a number, whether it's a paycheck or a number for somebody else to be happy with. You were created for more than that. And so I hope that you will make changes if you need to. Stop and look back and pay attention. And if numbers and growth and, popularity and, people to see you and to be proud of you, if that's your goal, then that's your goal. God bless you for it. That is not my goal. That's not what I want. That's just not me. That's never been me. I'm not a competitive person. If I end up in a competition with somebody else, I will gladly step out before it becomes a competition because that's not me. Anybody that knows me personally knows that's the truth. The only person I'm competitive with is myself and my husband. If we're playing a game, my goal is to beat him. He's the only one I want to beat. Other than that, I'm happy to step away and let somebody else take that place because I don't want it. But that's just me. So I thank you for listening. I thank you for letting me ramble for a minute. I hope that if there's changes that you need to make, I'm telling you, you're created for more. You can do it. What is your goal? I'm going to start thinking about my goal, because my goal is to encourage, but I'm going to look closely and see if there's something else that I can do, maybe. But really, I just want to encourage. That's it. So thank you for being here. Have a great day.